Isis from EnduraLab to show you how to make a quick gluten-free, dairy-free meal. Now, a lot of times people want that to actually look like gluten or look like dairy when they're making these meals, but in fact, there's a lot of gluten and dairy-free things out there that just don't include those, period. But today we're going to do a substitute that I like to use, which is arrowroot. It's perfect for gluten-free baking. It's like a kind of a crust, so we'll put it on top of our chicken today to kind of coat it. So this is the gluten dairy-free tip that I have. But today we're gonna make a little twist on orange chicken, okay? And in a way it is gonna just be a hint of actually Clementine. So we'll use the zest and the juice from the Clementine. It'll be a light hint. So again, not like the orange chicken you're probably used to. We're gonna incorporate some asparagus and it's gonna be all in one pan. So right now on the stove, I have a skillet on a medium heat. Okay, so that's warming up. While that's happening, I'm going to put about a tablespoon of olive oil in. Now you can measure. Of course, I've been eyeballing it because I kind of know how much a tablespoon is for measuring. All right, so that's on there. Now I've got a pound, let's see, it's a pound, 0.11 of chicken. And these are, well, they're pretty thin. I was gonna say I can slice them in half, but it looks like they're actually pretty thin already. So that's awesome. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of cut off the little pieces the little like fatty pieces, and just make sure that it's a clean cut of chicken that you'll wanna eat all the parts of, so you're not picking around it. So any kind of like grizzly parts, which this doesn't have too many. I got this chicken from Central Market and it's pretty good. Okay, so chicken is cut and it's already pretty thin. Like I said, if you have thick pieces of chicken, you want to cut it in half, or you can put plastic wrap on the top and the bottom and use a meat pounder and get it to be a little bit flatter, but these are actually pretty good. Just washing my hands. All right, so then I am going to put about a 1/4 cup of this arrowroot on a plate. And again, this is gonna be kind of the filling, or not the filling, but the coating of the chicken. Okay, then I'm gonna put about a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and some black pepper. Probably about 1/8, but again, I'm just eyeballing it. All right, and you kind of mix it up there. And we're just gonna lightly coat the chicken with that. And again, just checking my pan. It looks like it's a little hot, so I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. Those cast iron skillets get kind of hot. All right, so I'm going to coat the chicken very lightly, and then I'm going to put it on the stove. Now we want to cook about 5 minutes per side. This could be a job for a little, if you have one in your house. It's kind of fun. So it's in the pan. I'm gonna make sure I time that. I'm gonna clean this cutting board. done with this arrowroot plate. Awesome. Now, while that's going, I'm gonna get the asparagus ready. And for the asparagus, here, I'm gonna trim it up just a little bit because I don't want these like tough ends to be in my meal. And we want probably about a pound of asparagus. So I may not do all of this, because that's a lot. Save this for another meal. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut off the ends. That would be pretty rough. Like so. Okay, I'm gonna stick them in a bowl. Get ready for that. It has been a couple minutes, so probably about 3 more minutes before I flip the chicken. And I'm gonna use tongs, these tongs. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make the Clementine kind of dressing. So in a small bowl, couple more minutes there. Missing a tool. All right, so I'm gonna add some zest eventually. So I wanna get like another little bowl to do that before I actually get the juice. So I'm gonna zest with a little grater and just gently get the outside of the clementine. Be careful as you start to grate away, it gets really soft and kind of like slippery, and you don't wanna grind your knuckles on this. Ugh. Just talking about it makes me get a little sick. All right, so you can see the zest is on the other side. You can take your finger and just kind of wipe along that edge and get it off there. All right, so then once you're done with that, you can peel off the skin. And we're gonna put the juice. Probably don't even need to do half of it. I'm just gonna squeeze that clementine and get that juice out. That's where your Duralab strength comes in. All right, throw that away. One more minute on the chicken. I am paying attention to that. So we want to put about a tablespoon of honey Dijon. Okay, this is a very good low calorie add-on. So we're going to put about a tablespoon mixed in with that clementine juice. Time to flip that chicken. It's got a nice little coating on it. So we're going to mix this together. So good and fresh. right, we're gonna save that. So we got another 5 minutes on that chicken. When that chicken comes off, I'm gonna put it on this paper towel plate to rest while we get ready for the asparagus. Now we have some garlic that we're gonna saute in the pan in just a little bit. And that's cooking up really good. So I've got my Dijon mustard and Clementine juice kind of sauce. We've got our asparagus, we've got our zest ready to go. We need some chicken stock. We need about a cup of that. So I'm gonna go grab my cup. Woo! Already in the kitchen. All right, so we've got a cup of that. Okay, so it's been going about 2 minutes, about 3 minutes more on that chicken. Again, we want it cooked all the way through. So sometimes I get really nervous about chicken and cooking all the way through. So what I'll do is I'll cover it with a pan topper so that the heat kind of goes back down and circulates through. I would rather have overcooked chicken than undercooked chicken, and so that's one of the ways that I guarantee that it's cooked all the way through. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my chicken stock measured out. I love buying this chicken stock that has the lid that you can put back on and use again, because I never use a whole thing of chicken stock or beef stock. I just stick it in the fridge. And I can use that again. Let's see, I need about, for our chopped garlic, I'm gonna use 2 cloves, and on here there's a little trick on the back that says half a teaspoon is equal to 1 clove of garlic. So you can totally buy garlic whole and peel and crush and chop, or you can do it this way, which I do, is buy it already chopped and minced. And then I'm going to just measure out. I need 2 cloves, so I'm gonna do a teaspoon of garlic. That's what I used for my salt earlier. So I'm gonna wipe that down just a little bit. Go ahead and scoop out some garlic. Now, another thing I like about cooking like this is if you're a little bit over or under on any of these ingredients, it's totally fine. That's why I'm not a good baker, because I can't do like precise measurements. I'm just like, oh, here's some salt and here's some this and that, and I don't really worry too much. But like baking, you have to worry because it's like chemical balances and all that good stuff. So, all right, let's check on this chicken. It's looking good, although just not quite. I can see on the sides that it's a little bit pink, so I'm going to give it a couple more minutes because I don't want that. And I'm going to save this asparagus for later. And you know what? You might as well chop it, because that's less for you to do next time. So a little sneaky one in there. Go. And I'm going to dry it with some paper towels just so it's not all wet. What I could do with that is I could chop this up and put it in an omelet for breakfast, or you can saute it up if you're home for lunch. So good. All right, I think the chicken is good. So what we're gonna do is take it off and again put it on this lined paper towel plate. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Yum. And we're gonna put another tablespoon of olive oil in the pan. And we're gonna put our garlic in there. You really need smell-o-vision, it smells so good. All right, and we're gonna toss in our asparagus. And I use the tongs to kind of mix it up in there. Okay, so our asparagus is in, garlic. We're just kind of sauteing this for a couple of minutes. What we're gonna do is then add our zesty mustard. More chicken stock. I only put half a cup. And we're gonna let that simmer for 2 to 3 minutes. Turned up the heat just a little bit to get that simmer going. You want just like a light bubbling of the liquid. Once the liquid starts bubbling, then you can reduce the heat, but we want to turn it up to get it bubbling, almost to boil. All right, so while that's happening, in real kitchen life, I'm cleaning up as I go, so I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm just kind of like putting stuff away. I already put the chicken stock back in the fridge. Just kind of cleaning up my utensils. Won't need my garlic anymore, so I'm gonna put that back in the fridge. And my liquid is bubbling, so I'm going to turn that back down for 2-3 minutes, let that go. I'm gonna also drop in this lemon zest, or I'm sorry, not lemon, but clementine zest right over the top. Stir that around. And this is just to get that asparagus nice and tender. I can get rid of this. And I have some fresh parsley that will be good to kind of mix in once we put back in that chicken. So I'm just gonna take a couple, not too much, just because it's kind of strong, and unless you love parsley, I wouldn't put too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash this, chop it. So if you have those picky eaters in the house, this is kind of a little bit of the extra that they may be like, oh, this is too healthy or something. I don't know. All right, awesome. So I'm gonna add that parsley to it. Smelling so good, fresh. I'm gonna go ahead and add the chicken back. Just let the flavors kind of soak in that chicken. And we'll flip it. So we'll do it for a couple minutes and then flip it. And then I'm gonna do my trick of covering just to make sure everything is just getting the maximum heat. Keep on cleaning. Really, that's all there is to it, because once this is done, in the next couple of minutes, you have a meal in one skillet. And we did all of this in about 25 minutes. So you can have dinner on the table and a clean kitchen. I mean, they're in the dishwasher, let's be real. The dishes are in the sink and then halfway coming out of the dishwasher, but you're halfway there. I'm gonna take this off so you guys can see it. And we're gonna flip it, like I said, this halfway through. Make sure the chicken is getting all that flavor from the bottom. can do is taste the sauce, because I love salt, but sometimes I put too much salt, so I definitely taste and then salt my own food usually. But you can add salt and pepper to taste once you take off the skillet. So good. So you can see there. I'm just going to add some salt, some pepper, and voila! You have chicken and asparagus with a hint of clementine. You're so fancy. 26 minutes looks like what we did, and dinner is served. Thanks so much for joining me for this gluten-free, dairy-free cooking demo. I hope you fall in love with cooking this month. Have a great one.